Hello everyone, and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey back in time to the land of pyramids and pharaohs, to the heart of one of the most magnificent civilizations in human history. We're talking, of course, about ancient Egypt, a civilization born from the life-giving waters of the Nile River. For thousands of years, the Nile has been the lifeblood of Egypt. Every year, its predictable floods would deposit a rich layer of black silt along its banks, creating an incredibly fertile strip of land in the middle of a vast desert. This gift of the Nile, as the Greek historian Herodotus called it, was the foundation upon which everything was built. It allowed the ancient Egyptians to move beyond a simple existence and cultivate a complex society. They learned to manage the river's floods, developing sophisticated irrigation systems with canals and dikes. This agricultural surplus didn't just feed the population, it freed people to become artisans, scribes, priests, and soldiers. It was the engine of their entire civilization. The story of unified Egypt begins around 3100 BCE with a legendary figure named Narmer, or perhaps Menes. He's credited with uniting Upper and Lower Egypt into a single, powerful kingdom. This event is famously depicted on the Narmer palette, one of the most significant archaeological finds from this period. The unification marked the beginning of the dynastic era, a long and storied history typically divided into three major periods of strength and prosperity: the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms, separated by intermediate periods of instability. The Old Kingdom, often called the Age of the Pyramids, is where we see the pharaoh's power reach its zenith. Pharaohs were not just kings, they were considered divine beings, gods on earth, acting as intermediaries between the heavens and humanity. Their absolute authority allowed them to command the immense resources and labor needed to construct the most iconic monuments ever created. The Pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu, stood as the tallest man-made structure for nearly 4,000 years. These were not just tombs, they were grand resurrection machines, designed to ensure the pharaoh's successful journey into the afterlife and eternal life among the gods. After a period of turmoil, the Middle Kingdom emerged as a time of renaissance. The pharaohs of this era focused on strengthening the country from within. They undertook massive public works projects, reclaiming land for agriculture, fortifying the borders, and promoting art and literature. This period is often seen as the classical age of Egyptian culture, a time when tales like the story of Sinuhe were written, giving us profound insights into their worldview and values. It was a time of stability and cultural flourishing, demonstrating Egypt's incredible resilience. Then came the New Kingdom, the Age of Empire. This was Egypt at its most powerful and prosperous. Pharaohs like Hatshepsut, the great female ruler who oversaw a period of immense peace and architectural innovation, and Thutmose III, a military genius who expanded Egypt's borders to their greatest extent, defined this era. And of course, there was Ramesses the Great, a master of propaganda whose name is etched on countless temples and monuments, like the incredible Abu Simbel, ensuring his legacy would never be forgotten. This was an age of conquest, wealth, and monumental building on an unprecedented scale. But what about the daily life of an ordinary Egyptian? Most were farmers, their lives dictated by the rhythm of the Nile's flood, planting, and harvest seasons. Society was highly structured, like a pyramid itself. At the top was the divine pharaoh. Below him were the nobles, priests, and viziers who administered the kingdom. Then came the scribes, the educated elite who were essential for keeping records and managing the state. Further down were the skilled artisans, craftsmen, and soldiers. And at the base, forming the vast majority of the population, were the farmers and laborers. While social mobility was possible, it was rare. Your path was largely determined by the family you were born into. Religion was woven into every aspect of Egyptian life. They worshipped a complex pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled the forces of nature and the fate of humanity. There was Ra, the sun god and creator, Osiris, the god of the underworld, Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, and Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky whose earthly embodiment was the pharaoh himself. The Egyptians had a profound belief in the afterlife. They believed death was not an end but a transition to another eternal existence. This is why mummification was so important. It was a sacred process to preserve the body, or Ka, so the soul, or Ba. could recognize it and reunite for the journey through the underworld. Tombs were filled with everything a person might need in the next life, from food and furniture to magical spells written on papyrus scrolls, known as the Book of the Dead. The Egyptians were also brilliant innovators. Their system of writing, hieroglyphics, is one of their most famous achievements. It began as a pictorial script but evolved into a complex system of symbols representing sounds and ideas. For centuries, its meaning was lost, until the discovery of the Rosetta Stone in 1799. This incredible artifact, inscribed with the same text in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic, Demotic, and Greek, provided the key to finally deciphering the ancient language and unlocking the secrets of their civilization. Beyond writing, they made huge strides in mathematics, geometry, and astronomy, all driven by practical needs like calculating taxes, surveying land after the floods, and creating a precise 365-day calendar. Their knowledge of medicine and anatomy, gained in part through the practice of mummification, was remarkably advanced for its time. So, what happened to this mighty civilization? Like all great empires, ancient Egypt eventually declined. A combination of factors, including internal power struggles, economic problems, and a series of invasions by foreign powers like the Libyans, Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians, gradually weakened the pharaoh's rule. The final blow came in 30 BCE, when the last pharaoh, the legendary Cleopatra VII, was defeated by the Romans. Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire, and the age of the pharaohs came to an end. But the legacy of ancient Egypt is eternal. Its influence on subsequent civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans, was immense. Today, its pyramids, temples, art, and writing continue to captivate and inspire us. The Nile civilization reminds us of the incredible heights of human ingenuity, our quest for meaning in the face of mortality, and the enduring power of a culture that shaped the ancient world and continues to echo through our own time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey down the Nile. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient Egypt, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to History of the Ancient World for more deep dives into the past. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'll see you in the next one.